What if your home held secrets from a bygone era, hidden in plain sight? We're about to uncover the ingenious and sometimes bizarre home features our grandparents relied on that have now vanished from our modern lives. Before our world was dominated by smart devices and digital convenience, houses were filled with clever architectural solutions and everyday objects designed to solve problems we no longer face. These weren't just quirks, they were essential elements that made daily life function. From structural reinforcements you'd never guess, to delivery systems for forgotten necessities, these relics tell the story of how we used to live. The past is hidden in the walls of our homes. Let's start with a feature you might have spotted on the exterior of a brick building: strange decorative metal plates. These iron fixtures, known as wall plates, were far more than just ornamentation. They were a critical part of a hidden reinforcement system. Long iron rods ran through the walls connecting to these plates, which acted as anchors to keep the brick or stone from bowing or collapsing. In an age before steel framing and modern engineering, this was the brilliant solution builders used to ensure a home stood strong for generations. Today they remain as silent, sturdy reminders of a different approach to construction. Now take a look down near the foundation. Have you ever seen a small, sealed-up iron door? That was a coal chute. But in an era when coal was the primary fuel for heat, this was the delivery port. The coalman would arrive, shovel coal through the door, and it would slide down a chute directly into the basement storage bin. This kept the messy fuel outside the living areas. The shift to natural gas and electric heat made these chutes obsolete. Many were simply sealed shut, leaving a ghost of a colder time. Then there's the Pittsburgh potty. Imagine walking into a pre-World War II basement and finding a solitary toilet, standing in the open with no walls, no sink, no privacy. This wasn't a design flaw. It was a practical solution for industrial workers. A steel worker or miner would come home covered in grime, enter through the basement, and clean up at this utility station before tracking dirt into the main house. It was a barrier between the grit of labor and the cleanliness of home. Before cell phones, the family landline was a bulky, stationary device that demanded its own dedicated space. This led to the built-in phone nook. These small shelves or recessed alcoves, often found in hallways, housed the telephone and frequently included a tiny shelf for the phone book and a notepad. Some even had a small seat built in, creating a private corner for conversations. While their original purpose is gone, many now serve as charming display spots for plants or keepsakes. Another mysterious little door is the ice door. Before refrigerators, people used iceboxes, insulated cabinets that required a large block of ice to keep food cold. The ice delivery man would bring a new block regularly. This special door allowed him to place it directly into the icebox's compartment without ever stepping foot inside the home. It was a system designed for efficiency and privacy. And if you've ever heard an older relative call the fridge an icebox, now you know the origin of that term. For saving space, few features are as clever as the pocket door. Like traditional doors that swing open and take up valuable floor space, pocket doors slide seamlessly into a compartment within the wall. They allowed our ancestors to have flexible, open-concept spaces that could be closed off when needed. It's a feature that, despite its brilliance, has become less common, but is seeing a resurgence in modern, space-conscious design. Of all these features, which one surprises you the most so far? Let us know in the comments. Laundry chutes were another stroke of genius in multi-story homes. Instead of carrying heavy baskets of dirty clothes down multiple flights of stairs, you could simply open a small door in a hallway or bathroom and toss the laundry down a smooth enclosed tube. Gravity did all the work, delivering the clothes straight to the basement laundry area. Safety concerns and changing home layouts led to their decline. Some homeowners are now reinstalling them, proving that old-school efficiency is hard to beat. Now, let's talk about something you hope isn't still in your walls: knob and tube wiring. This was one of the earliest electrical systems. It's common from the 1880s to the 1930s. Insulated copper wires were run through walls. It's held in place by ceramic knobs and protected where they pass through wood by ceramic tubes. While it was a safe solution for the minimal electrical needs of the time, it's a major fire hazard today. It lacks a ground wire, and the old insulation can become brittle and dangerous. It's a fascinating piece of history, but not one you want powering your home. While Murphy beds that fold down from the wall are well known, there was also the ceiling bed, patented in 1916. These beds used a counterweight system to be lowered from the ceiling with a crank, saving precious floor space in small apartments. They never achieved the fame of the Murphy bed, but the concept is being revisited today for micro apartments, proving that the struggle for space is not new. Early light switches weren't the flip switches we know. They were push button. One button turned the light on, the other turned it off. They were seen as modern in their day, but had a notorious flaw. The buttons would often stick, leaving lights permanently on or off, which was not only annoying but a potential fire risk. While obsolete, reproductions are now popular for restoring historic homes with a vintage aesthetic. Before paved roads, a boot scraper was an essential sentinel at the front door. This simple cast iron fixture allowed people to scrape mud, dirt, and other debris from their shoes before entering the house, protecting delicate carpets and rugs. As cities modernized and cars replaced horses, these practical tools became unnecessary. But you can still spot them on historic homes, a small testament to a muddier time. For a touch of dramatic mid-century modern flair, few features were as iconic as the sunken living room or conversation pit. Inspired by ancient Roman designs, these recessed areas created intimate, cozy spaces for gathering and conversation. They were the height of sophistication in the 50s through the 70s. However, they fell out of favor due to safety concerns, people tripping on the level chinjoned, the rising popularity of completely open concept floor plans that they physically interrupted. Are you still enjoying this journey into the past? Drop a yes in the comments to let us know. Inspired by Polynesian culture, tiki bars were a massive trend in American basements and backyards during the 1950s and 60s, adorned with bamboo, thatched roofs, and tiki masks. They created a festive tropical escape for hosting cocktail parties. As design tastes evolved and cultural sensitivity grew regarding appropriation, these home bars largely disappeared, now preserved mostly in retro-themed establishments. Popcorn ceilings, also called acoustic ceilings, were everywhere from the 1950s to the 1980s. This textured finish was popular because it helped dampen sound, and more importantly, hid imperfections in the ceiling drywall. Their downfall came when the health risks of asbestos, a common ingredient in the texture, became widely known. This led to a massive removal effort, and you'll rarely see them in new homes today. Dumbwaiters were the miniature elevators for food. These small, pulley-operated lifts were essential in larger homes where the kitchen was on a different floor from the dining room. They efficiently transported meals and dishes, making service seamless. While they seem like a luxury of the past, modern versions are still used in some homes. In businesses today, though in many old houses, they sit unused or are sealed off. For security, many homes featured hidden safes. These were cleverly concealed within walls or floors, often hidden behind a painting, mirror, or a false panel. At a time when banking was less accessible, these provided a secure place for cash, jewelry, important documents right in the home. With the advent of advanced home security systems and reliable banks, the need for these discreet vaults faded. In grand mansions, servant stairs were a clear marker of social hierarchy. These steep, narrow, and discreet staircases allowed household staff to move between floors unseen, performing their duties without interrupting the family in the main, more elegant staircases. It's a feature rarely found outside of historic estates today. Connected to this was the servant floor button. In formal dining rooms of the 19th and early 20th centuries, a small, inconspicuous button was often embedded in the floor under the rug or table. The homeowner could press it with their foot, triggering a bell or buzzer in the service area to summon the butler or staff without saying a word. It was the ultimate in discreet, formal service. If you could bring one of these features back into your own home, which would it be and why? Share your story below. The milk door was a common sight in the days of daily milk delivery. This small, insulated door, usually located near the kitchen, allowed the milkman to deposit fresh bottles and retrieve the empty ones without the homeowner needing to be present or open the main door. It was a system built for hygiene and convenience in a time before reliable home refrigeration. Transom windows are the small windows you see above doors. Before electricity was ubiquitous, these windows were vital for passive climate control and illumination. They allowed light from brighter rooms to filter into darker hallways, and when opened, promoted air circulation, letting warm air escape and cool air flow through. While modern HVAC has replaced their functional need, they are still loved for their timeless beauty. Even skylights had their own forgotten feature: skylight blinds. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, homeowners needed a way to control the intense light and heat pouring in from above. These blinds could be pulled across the skylight, offering adjustable shade for comfort and energy savings. They were eventually replaced by motorized shades and more advanced window treatments. In the 1950s and 60s, backyard pools weren't just for swimming, they were statements. The jelly bean-shaped pool, with its fun, curvy outline, was a hallmark of playful mid-century design. As tastes shifted towards cleaner geometric lines and more affordable rectangular pools, these whimsical shapes slowly disappeared from backyards. Swing doors in kitchens were the graceful link between cooking and dining. From the Victorian era through the mid-20th century, these two-way doors allowed someone carrying a heavy tray to simply push through without fumbling for a knob. The rise of open-concept layouts, where the kitchen flows directly into the dining area, made these doors largely unnecessary, and safety concerns about them swinging into people contributed to their decline. Another brilliant space saver was the pull-down cutting board. Tucked neatly under a kitchen counter, it could be pulled down to provide a sturdy, dedicated chopping surface, then folded away to save space. The advent of durable countertop materials like granite and quartz, combined with the popularity of portable cutting boards, led to its demise. Wood paneling covered the walls of countless American homes from the 1950s to the 1970s. Often dark oak or mahogany, it conveyed a sense of warmth, tradition, and sophistication. As design trends shifted towards brighter, lighter interiors and concerns about materials arose, wood paneling fell out of favor, with most homeowners now opting for paint or wallpaper. Which old home feature do you think has been most effectively replaced by modern technology, making it completely unnecessary today? Let us know your thoughts. Picture rails were the solution to a fragile problem. For drywall, walls were made of plaster, which could easily crack or break if you hammered a nail directly into it. Picture rails, installed high on the wall, allowed homeowners to hang artwork using wires and hooks that slid along the rail, enabling easy rearrangement without damaging the wall. As walls became more durable, people became comfortable nailing directly into them, and this elegant system faded away. Home intercom systems were the smart home technology of the 1970s. These wired systems allowed family members to communicate between rooms and often included a front door intercom to screen visitors. The rise of mobile phones and smart doorbells with cameras made these bulky whole-house systems obsolete almost overnight. Our homes are museums of forgotten daily life. Perhaps the most intriguing bathroom relic is the razor blade disposal slot. If you look inside an old medicine cabinet, you might find a small slit. This wasn't a mistake. It was a built-in disposal for double-edged razor blades. You would simply drop your used blade into the slot, and it would fall into the hollow space inside the wall, out of sight and out of mind. It seemed like a great idea at the time, but now many old homes have a hidden cache of rusty blades lurking within their walls. Before refrigerators, people relied on root cellars for food preservation. These cool, dark underground spaces used the Earth's natural insulation to keep vegetables, fruits, and other perishables fresh for months. Properly designed with ventilation and humidity control, they were essential for surviving winters and summers without electricity. While refrigerators made them largely obsolete, they are still used by some for storing homegrown produce or aging cheese and wine. The 1980s ushered in its own unique set of home trends that now feel like a time capsule. Glass blocks, for instance, became a huge interior design craze. They weren't invented in the 80s, but that's when they exploded in popularity. Used to create partitions that divided space, while still allowing light to filter through, giving a feeling of modern luxury. Floral bedding and curtains, particularly the frilly, girly style popularized by Laura Ashley, defined the 80s bedroom. These soft, romantic patterns and pastel colors, often on ruffled fabrics, created an unmistakably feminine and cozy space. It was a look you would have seen in countless homes and movies of the era. Metal wall sculptures were in nearly every home. These large, two-dimensional artworks depicting birds or abstract shapes added a light, ethereal feel to a room. But every 80s homemaker knew the secret downside. They were absolute dust magnets, requiring meticulous and frequent cleaning. Before smartphones, teenagers lived their social lives on novelty phones. These weren't just phones, they were personality statements, shaped like Garfield, Snoopy, or countless other characters. They came with incredibly long cords that could be twisted around your finger while you talked for hours, always hoping no one else in the house needed the line. Extravagant drapes were a must-have for expressing style. These giant drapes, hanging from ceiling to floor and accompanied by elaborate valances, were designed to make a grand, almost palatial statement. The significant drawback became apparent when it was time to take them down for washing a heavy, cumbersome task that required considerable effort. The Memphis design style, with its bold, chaotic mix of bright colors and geometric shapes, burst onto the scene from Italy. Inspired by a Bob Dylan song, it was a rebellious, joyful aesthetic that showed up on everything from dishes to clothing. And you can see its influence in TV shows like Saved by the Bell. Clear furniture made from lucite was another 80s hallmark. This trend, which originally came from the Art Deco movement, came back with a vengeance. These transparent tables and chairs created a light, modern look and made spaces feel more open because they didn't visually clutter the room. And as a humorous side note, you could never secretly kick someone under a clear table. If you had a house built in the 80s, your kitchen almost certainly had honey oak cabinets. The warm, yellowish-brown tone of this wood was so ubiquitous that it instantly brings to mind images of acid-washed jeans and big hair. It was the definitive kitchen look of the decade. Brass was everywhere, from door handles to decorative figurines. Its shimmering presence added a touch of classic luxury, but it came with a price. It required regular polishing with special cleaner to prevent tarnishing. Many items were only brass-plated, meaning the finish would wear off after a few years, leaving them looking shabby. Venetian blinds were common, but in the 80s, they were mostly made of metal, not plastic. This was fine until a pet or child bent one of the slats. Once bent, they were permanently deformed, leaving your windows covered in wavy, unsightly blinds that were a constant reminder of household mischief. Vertical blinds were the popular choice for patio doors and large windows. They offered a sleek, modern alternative to fabric drapes. However, they had a major design flaw when the air conditioning kicked on. The slats would flap noisily back and forth, providing very little shade and creating a constant clatter. They were also prone to breaking, with slats frequently detaching from the track. Furniture skirts were a curious trend that carried over from the 70s. Beds, sofas, and ottomans were often dressed with fabric that reached the floor, hiding the legs. These skirts were like little monsters lying on the carpet, ready to swallow any toy or remote control that happened to roll underneath, making retrieval a frustrating task. By the late 80s, neon wall art had jumped from commercial signs into home decor. Whether it was a simple shape or a word in a teenager's room, the brilliant glow of pink, blue, or green neon created a modern, disco-like atmosphere and was a bold way to express individuality. In the bathroom, Hollywood vanity lighting was all the rage. These fixtures, with their large spherical bulbs arranged across the mirror, provided intense, even illumination for applying makeup. No one seemed to care that each bulb was 60 or 100 watts. The goal was glamorous, stadium-quality lighting, even if it made blending foundation a challenge. While few people actually owned one, the heart-shaped tub was a powerful symbol of 80s luxury and romance. First installed in a Pennsylvania resort in 1968, they peaked in popularity during the 80s, representing the ultimate in romantic high-end relaxation. Often depicted with dim lights and candles, houseplants were more popular than ever. The 80s desire to bring the outdoors in turned living rooms into personal jungles. With hanging plants, large ferns, and climbing pothos, this trend was so influential, it even affected patterns on bedding and wallpaper. Which of these 80s items do you think is the most iconic? Share your pick below. Tell colors dominated wall paint. Homeowners chose soft pinks, light blues, and seafoam greens. But one color reigned supreme: mauve. This unique shade, a blend of pink and purple, was everywhere, evoking the tones of desert sunsets and adobe homes. If your walls weren't a pastel, you were behind the times. Lace curtains hung in countless windows. This delicate romantic style, introduced by Europeans earlier in the century, remained a firm favorite. They filtered soft light into rooms, creating a cozy, poetic feel and proving that some classic styles are truly timeless. The entertainment center was the command hub of the living room. This massive piece of furniture had to be huge to hold the entire media collection. CASSETTE tapes, VHS tapes, and the Atari game console. The most luxurious models had glass doors to protect these treasures from dust, though those doors always seemed to attract fingerprints. In the bathroom, you'd often find a knitted toilet roll cover. This was a small doll whose knitted dress hid a spare roll of toilet paper. Why did this trend exist? It's hard to say for sure, other than it was a quirky way to add a touch of handmade, whimsical charm to the room. To manage massive collections of cassette and VHS tapes, people used special storage cabinets. These cabinets kept your music and movies organized and made it easy to show off your latest acquisitions to friends. They recall a time when browsing a physical library of tapes was part of the entertainment experience. Nesting tables were the perfect space-saving solution. These were sets of small tables that could slide underneath the largest one when not in use, freeing up floor space. When company came over, you could pull them out to hold snacks and drinks. Kids loved them for Saturday morning cartoons. Frosted glass animals were a ubiquitous decorative item. Whether it was a hummingbird or a cat, these small, translucent figurines were displayed with pride on shelves and coffee tables. Display cabinets themselves were filled with these miniatures and other accumulated treasures. Another decorating craze was decorative geese. It seemed you couldn't escape them. White geese, often adorned with a blue ribbon, appeared on plates as statues, and in paintings, bringing a wave of country charm and cuteness to homes throughout the decade. Wall-to-wall carpeting, especially in colors like teal, was a defining feature. Many beautiful hardwood floors were covered over with this soft, cozy, and sound-dampening material. You can see its prevalence in films like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Before the internet, family recipes were guarded treasures. They weren't found online, were carefully handwritten on index cards and stored in decorative wooden recipe boxes. These were the secret formulas for beloved family meals, passed down through generations. Every home had a clock, and one of the most popular was the dome clock. These elegant, often golden clocks featured small balls that swung back and forth in a mesmerizing rhythmic motion at the bottom. They were captivating to watch, though they've lost their widespread popularity today. To share vacation photos, you didn't use a phone, you used a slide projector. Friends and family would gather for slideshows of your trips. It was a social ritual if you sat through theirs. They had to sit through yours. Colored toilet paper was a vibrant trend in the 70s and 80s. You could buy it in blue, green, pink, and even patterns to match your bathroom's color scheme. They eventually disappeared from the market because the dyes used were found to be not good for health, particularly for women. Finally, the kitchen was often home to a bulky coffee maker. People would set it up the night before to automatically brew a full pot of coffee by morning. The most advanced models even had a built-in radio. It reflected a time when coffee was consumed by the pot, not the single cup. So many of these home features are gone, but the memories they hold are still vivid. Did I miss one that you remember from your childhood home? Share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please show your support by giving this video a like and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more journeys into the past. Share it with someone who loves nostalgia as much as you do. Thanks for watching.